Hello, dear sister. This reading is regarding miscarriage. It can also apply to abortion or stillborns, but I'm just going to focus on miscarriage. But the same information applies. If you're going through any of these, please let me give you a big hug because, oh my God, there is nothing easy about any of this. Any of this. I know how devastating suffering a loss could be. I had two miscarriages, and they were pivotal points in my life. Also, two of the hardest things I've ever had to go through. So, we really need to be gentle with ourselves, give ourselves time to grieve, time to mourn, and hopefully we have people we can talk about this with. I know after my miscarriages, I needed to talk about it. And miscarriage is something that we're conditioned not to talk about, which is why we have that stupid, I think it's really stupid. Wait until 3 months before you tell anyone, because if you have a miscarriage, we don't want to share that. Oh my God, I hate that. And that has to be rethought. Miscarriage is a part of life. Grieving is a part of life. And because it might make other people uncomfortable, does not mean we have to pretend it didn't happen. So I do believe that this is changing, thankfully, through internet, websites, multimedia. People are feeling more free to talk about such things, but we need to talk about it. You know, when I was going through my miscarriages, if someone said to me, "Do you want to talk about it?" I would collapse in their arms and say, "Yes, thank you. I needed to talk about it." So please, first and foremost, give yourself the space to process this. I know some people that haven't had a miscarriage don't understand. Well, how can you miss something you never had? Well, as soon as we even want a baby, there's already this dream of the baby. So I get it, and it is something very real, and it is something that needs to be grieved and mourned on our part. So allow yourself the space to do that. Find people to surround yourself with who will be sympathetic. You have to get it out so it doesn't stay bubbling under the surface and coming out in the most inopportune times. And it really does need to be dealt with. I know for me, I'm like, okay, I just want to get pregnant right away. I think everyone feels that way. I just want to get pregnant right away. I'm not saying don't get pregnant right away. I'm just saying allow yourself the space as well to realize you just had an experience. You just had a life experience. It should be honored. It was sacred. Can you believe I'm saying that? Yes. These experiences are sacred. And I'm not going to get too far into that right now, but that is something I will talk about in just a couple minutes. So, yes, miscarriages are painful, a painful experience, but then there's also some magic contained with them. And the first thing the spirit babies want you to know, this is very important to them that we understand this, is that they will come back. They'll come back. Whether you had a miscarriage, an abortion, or stillborn, the soul of that baby will come back if you wanted to. If you create the conditions for the baby to come back, that soul will come back. You lost a body, you lost a physical body, but that soul of your baby is still very, very close to you, very close to you. I was pregnant 3 times with my first son before I had him. And to me, it was just obvious that it was the same soul. Know that. Know that your baby is still very close to you and still really, really wanting to connect to you. That's what they want you to know first and foremost. They'll come back. They'll come back. And something else they want us to know is it's not our fault. We didn't do anything to deserve this. I remember thinking, oh my God, it was something I ate, or I wasn't prepared, or, I didn't do the right things. They want us to take the blame away. It's not our fault. In fact, this experience that we're having right now of loss is something that we actually chose before we came here. We chose it for spiritual reasons, so we could grow in some way. And this was part of our contract with our baby, our spiritual contract with our baby, So just picture you and your baby talking on the other side before you come in. Okay, I'm going to get pregnant, but how about you don't stay this time so I can learn this lesson and maybe it can help you in this way. If you can actually try and just really tap into that possibility that this is, yeah, you know what, this is the best way for us to learn this together. We chose to experience this together. For whatever reason, we may not know what those reasons are for a little while, if ever, but just trust that there's reasons that you, your partner, your baby, your family are experiencing this. Trust in that. Trust in that. So know that it's not your fault, um, and it's something that you both agreed to experience. Um, and then my dog is distracting me. I sort of lost my train of thought. Um, Hidden gifts. Yes, yes, this is what I want to talk about. The hidden gifts in miscarriage. I just said how close your baby is to you. So the yearning for your baby right now after a miscarriage is perhaps stronger than ever. And with that yearning creates this incredible connection to the spirit baby realm. And this is when you can really, really tap into pre-birth communication. That is when it really started picking up for me. I can't say I really experienced too much the first time, except I felt he was a boy. But then when I lost him and the yearning that ensued, oh my God, that's when that's when I really got tapped in, and there were signs coming from here and here and here. Your baby is sending you signs right now. And this reading is a sign from your baby that, Mama, I'm here, I'm coming back, I am communicating with you right now. So just sit with that for a moment. Just sit with that. That's a really important thing to know. And I just got chills. So the babies are saying, yeah, just take notice to what I just said. I'm here, I'm communicating with you, and I'm coming back. Just know that. Know that. There needs to be comfort in that. So yes, the hidden gifts. Pre-birth communication is the number one thing. And then there's also other things that you're gleaning from this, whether you know it now or you know it later. As I was going through it, I'm like, all I could focus on was how much it sucked and how much I wanted my baby. I'm like, but there is a human spiritual experience for you here. And what I was going to say earlier, but what I want to say now, is that when we're planning all these things with our babies on the other side, our higher self, the one who's doing the planning, and the one that your baby is still accompanying its higher self. So remember, the babies are in a place of limitlessness. They're not attached to the loss like we are. They know that they're coming back. They can see the higher picture. That they're not attached to the loss because they can see the bigger picture. And what they want us to know from our higher perspective is that we chose to experience, and we're getting exactly what we need from it. We're getting exactly what we need from it. Our higher self, our soul, is not as attached to having only beautiful experiences, only perfect pregnancies, only being happy all the time. We came here to experience the whole gamut of emotions and to experience things that maybe hurt a little, maybe hurt a lot, but help us get incredibly strong. So what you're doing right here is you're taking a major leap forward in your spiritual growth. And it sucks, but you're taking a huge leap here. Know this in your heart, that huge things are happening right now because you're brave enough to choose to go through this. So honor yourself, and know that you chose this for the gifts that are in it. The gifts that are in it. Even when I was going through my miscarriage, my first one, it was a weird one. I found it out at 12 weeks that the baby stopped growing at 8 weeks, and I chose not to have a D&C, but to let the baby miscarry naturally, which it did not. What happened was my body was just going to absorb the baby back in. So there was a good 4 to 6 weeks that I was still waiting not to be pregnant. And it was a raw, painful time, but also incredibly beautiful. And looking back, I can still see that at the time I thought it was beautiful because it was an experience. It was a spiritual experience, and I could see the gifts of pre-birth communication happening. So even though it was so difficult, it was a beautiful time. Honor that. Honor this that you're going through, and knowing that it's happening for very beautiful, profound reasons. Profound reasons. Okay, let's just take a breath at that. And know that, I'm getting a little lightheaded. There's a message coming here. That your baby will be sending you a message very soon. I'm thinking like within a day or two, maybe a dream. Be on the lookout right now. And this is what I'm being told to tell you. Your baby is sending you a message, a sign, and maybe even a totem. Totems helped me so much, so much. When I was going through my miscarriage, and this is what they want you to do. I did this. I wasn't going to say this, but they're telling me to say this. So this is what they want you to do. After my first miscarriage, and this goes back to the mourning and the grieving and the saying goodbye, I had just a very informal. I read this in a book to do this. A very informal meditation, where you meet your baby in a safe place. And you exchange gifts, and it's just like, goodbye for now, I'll see you again. So in my dream, in my vision, I met my baby on a beach, and I gave him a shell, and he gave me a green piece of sea glass. And you know what? It was a nice meditation. I didn't really think too much of it. It gave me, maybe a little bit of closure, but I sort of forgot about it until the next day when I saw a friend that I hadn't seen in a few months because she'd been in Florida. Well, she brought me back a necklace that had on it a green piece of sea glass. And I'm like, oh my God. And it also had a little turtle on it, which I didn't understand at the time, and it didn't make sense to me. And I'm like, oh, well, it'd be perfect if it didn't have the turtle on it, because then it would just be so stupid. It took me a couple of weeks to figure out that this was a gift from my baby. And when I looked up what turtle means, it means motherhood. It means motherhood. So turtles became such an important totem for me when I was going through my miscarriages. And so your baby wants me to tell you to look for a totem in the next 1 to 2 days within the week, and it's going to be either an animal, an insect, a symbol, something you see repeatedly, maybe not in real life, but on TV, on the internet. Your baby is sending you a totem, a promise that he or she will be back. He or she will be back. So honor yourself, dear sister. Honor yourself for this brave, courageous, beautiful experience you chose to have that is making you grow spiritually in leaps and bounds. Congratulate yourself. Have ceremony around this. Thank yourself. Thank your baby. You should be honored. Honored. I honor you. And then also know that there's so many hidden gifts here. So many hidden gifts. Know that your baby's coming back. It's a promise. And look for your totem. And email me what it is. I would love to know. I hope you find some comfort in this because you deserve it. But just know that your baby's very, very close, and he or she will come back. And in the meantime, it's communicating up a storm. Okay? I look forward to hearing of your pregnancy announcement. I love you.